Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I want to talk about some of the latest patch changes. This patch has already been implemented on the PlayStation and Xbox. At the time of making this video, it's not out for the PC. Hopefully it will be once this video launches, or at least it will be in the coming days. Now there's a bunch of fix-it stuff going on here. I don't really want to focus on that though. I want to talk about the weapons and gadget tweaks, which are really the most interesting to me. We're going to start off with grenades. It seems like some of the devs may be tired of getting grenades spammed all the time, getting blown up by every single grenade in the game. There's a lot of reductions to these now. First one on the list is everybody's favorite grenade launcher, the LVG, the one that you shoot and it bounces around and then explodes. Basically, this has had the maximum damage reduced to 80, so now you can't get one-shotted by it by some lucky bounce shot. And on top of that, they've also made it so that it detonates sooner, so it can't just kind of bounce around three corners and then blow up and kill you. It's now going to detonate much quicker than that, so I think you're going to have to be a little bit closer to your target to get kills with it. They've also reduced the maximum amount of grenades you can carry with any of the HE and LVG rounds from 4 to 3. On top of that, it's also going to take longer to get your 40mm rounds from ammo boxes. This is so that you cannot stand next to a support box and essentially just spam LVG and HE rounds all day. As many of you have probably already seen, this ruins certain game modes like on Operation Locker or Metro, where somebody has just decided to dedicate themselves to locking down one alleyway with an LVG, and they can do it very effectively. The same effect has also been applied to RGO impact grenades, V40 minis, M84 flashbangs, and M18 smoke grenades, again to reduce the amount of spam. You know, when you had V40 minis, you could almost throw them indefinitely because they recharge so fast. Now my only concern here is that I hope DICE made the recharge time long enough. If they only increased it by about a second for each thing, then that certainly isn't going to change a whole lot with the gameplay. I think they need to really take some drastic measures and add on something like 5 seconds to the recharge time of each grenade to make sure that there just isn't the ability to do grenade spam anymore. And if you really do want to re-equip explosives, it should be while you're capturing a flag. You can throw down or hang out near an ammo box and slowly regen grenades and get a grenade or maybe 2 grenades over the course of a long period of time. Now let's talk about some of the weapon tweaks incoming. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is the increased damage of buckshot against targets with body armor. Now, I had talked about in certain videos not using buckshots with shotguns whenever possible because body armor had such a big reduction to the actual damage on it that you couldn't one-shot certain targets, and so it was just an unpredictable way to run shotguns, so I just used flechette rounds. Moving on, we have some recoil reductions to the M4 and the M16A4. These are both burst fire weapons, and most people weren't really using them. I mean, you could kind of use them, but the recoil still made them difficult to use. Apparently the recoil has been reduced enough so that you can have tighter burst fire accuracy in their mid to long range roll. I'm looking forward to seeing what this does. Hopefully we can have some really effective burst fire weapons back in the Battlefield series. The G36C has had its recoil drastically reduced to hopefully make it one of the more accurate carbines available. Unfortunately, it still has its 650 round per minute rate of fire, so really no matter how accurate this carbine gets, I don't think anybody's going to use it. Also, the accuracy and recoil reduction buff doesn't really make sense for this weapon, considering its real life benefits and stuff like that. Its real life benefit is that it's very lightweight. It also has a very short barrel, so making this recoil less and have better accuracy doesn't really line up with the real life counterpart. Now let's talk about some of the vehicle tweaks. Scout helicopters and transport helis have had the repair rate further reduced, so hopefully scout helicopters just can't be these flying tanks anymore. A fully loaded scout helicopter is possibly one of the scariest things on the battlefield right now, which is pretty funny considering how vulnerable they used to be. Now here's something I'm really looking forward to. DICE has significantly increased the damage of the transport helicopter miniguns. People have been saying since day one of Battlefield that the miniguns on the transport heli do absolutely nothing. They're horrible. It's worse than actually just sitting in the side of the helicopter and shooting a carbine or an assault rifle or any other gun. The miniguns just suck so much, and this update is very welcome, especially by me. I really like to fly transport helicopters and provide good targets for my gunners, or even be a gunner in a transport heli. It used to actually be a lot of fun back in Battlefield 3. Now there's a large list of tweaks coming into the AC-130 gunship, all of which seem to increase the damage of its weapons and or accuracy. This is something that I am not looking forward to. I really was fine with the fact that the AC-1 gunship was very bad and very nerfed and didn't really make a lot of sense to spend time in. Just using it as sort of a mobile spawn point on conquest maps seemed like it was being used well enough. Bringing in buffs to this thing is something that I think could really infuriate and upset people. We all remember Rush in Battlefield 3 with the AC-130 gunship destroying everybody and just being this overpowered crazy beast in the sky. Right now it flies so high that I think most infantry feel relatively helpless against it. Also on maps where there's zero cover, you really can't do anything against it as long as you don't have any sort of anti-air weapons. You're kind of screwed, and increasing the damage it can do is really just going to exacerbate that situation. Now, of course, you always have the option to look for servers that do not have commander mode enabled, but adding one more thing to the list of checkboxes that you need to enable to have a good game of Battlefield isn't something I'm looking forward to. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the general fixes coming in this Naval Strike patch, but there are a few things that I think most of you are going to be really interested in. One of them is the kill cam bug being fixed. Hopefully it will now display the right person, and they also talked about reducing the jitter around the kill cam, so if you're close to an object or something like that and the camera is intersecting with it, hopefully that has now been fixed so you can have a nice clear target of your killer. As far as the netcode goes, they said there's a fix for an issue that could cause packet loss. I don't know if that's going to make the game run smoother. Probably not overall, but I will say whenever I play, that packet loss symbol is on my screen all the time. I mean, it is like, it's practically there more than it isn't there. So hopefully that gets fixed. So overall, it looks like this patch is going to be a nice update. Obviously, I'm concerned about the AC-130, but that's something that isn't going to necessarily affect every single game mode. The grenade updates are a really big thing. I hope that changes how a lot of maps flow right now and turns the game back into a shooter on some of those more grenade spammy maps. I really hope that this isn't sort of the traditional DICE patch where it's one step forward and two steps back, where they fix one thing and break three more things. I can only hope that the game is going to continue to get better at this state, and it is nice to know that the devs are actually still looking into some of the more important balanced things like shotguns and grenades. So as always, guys, I would love to hear your opinion on this latest update. What do you think about the AC-130? What do you think about the grenade updates? And what are some of the things that you would really like to have looked at for the upcoming patches? Also, if you're interested in the full patch notes, they are linked in the video description. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.